Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the latest episode of JKL Media Reviews. And returning once again to the Expanse, firing up that Epstein drive. And with me are my navigator and engineer, Jesse. Hello, Jesse.
Hello, Lou.
And Karen.
Hello, guys.
And I'm taking the titular role this week as the captain. We rotate on the captain, so every week it's a new captain. Works out pretty good for us. And we're talking about intransigence. And this is the continuation of the previous episode where the Rocinante has gone through the ring and the protomolecule ring, and so has the missile. And strange stuff is happening in there. And at the same time, there's stuff going on in the Behemoth too. So, Karen, what were your thoughts about this episode?
I liked it. Not unlike most of the other episodes this season. I was mad that I didn't get to go on to the next one. Not to mention, we skipped last week for technical reasons, and another week went by where I couldn't go on to the next one.
Yeah, sorry about
So, no, don't worry about it. It happens. So, yeah, I've watched it a couple times now, and good episode, I thought.
that. Okay, Jesse.
Yeah, I thought it was a good episode too. A fair amount of stuff happens. We get some changing, and I was close, but no cigar to the discussion of Melba. And that made me smile when I said, "Oh, now I see why Lou said, oh, that's not a bad guess." So, yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah. Let's start with that because Karen had inadvertently found out her identity before watching these episodes. So, Karen, why don't you tell us what your theory about her was and how well it meshed with what the show did?
My theory was that she was trying to find out what happened to her sister. Apparently, that's not the case. It goes much deeper than that. She's trying to win her father's affection.
Yep.
And it was spoiled for me as to who she was, but I really loved how they introduced her in the flashbacks where we see how callously she's cast aside by her father. Jules Pierre is terrible to her right out. You can never live up to her. You'll never be my favorite, essentially. And that that goes a lot of the way to telling us why she is the way she is. And yeah, I'm sad it was spoiled for me as to who she was, but I think the payoff and knowing why she did it made up for that. And I like how it ties into the debutante that's on the ship as well. That was our way into her flashbacks. It was a very novel way to do that. And seeing the difference between that girl and the girl we see on the Thomas, what is that ship they're on? Thomas Prince. It's a huge difference. And we have learned a bit more about her, but there's still so many things to find out about, like why does she have that super strength and all that. So
Okay. Jesse.
Yeah, I really liked this storyline and was kind of mildly irritated at myself. Oh yeah, that should have made sense. I that It's one of those reveals where after the fact you go, "Oh yeah, I should have seen that." Right? That or at least suspected it that it wasn't going to be someone out of the blue. And so I still think it's not a bad Holden sister, but once you reveal that it's Julie's sister, it's, oh yeah, that makes even more sense and it's a nice. I'm still a little confused how she's getting her quote unquote superpower, but I like her motivation. I don't agree with it,
We
but
can
I can empathize with that. You're trying to get we do a lot of things to get approval for people that love us. That is a very human character, you know, and it's often used in film going all the way back to Taxi Driver, right? That and even in real life with wasn't it Hinckley and Jodie?
mm,
Yeah.
yeah.
I really liked this storyline. I liked the actress. I thought her being uncomfortable and wanting to be respectful of the man that she killed, and then hearing that his review of her was really strong. And especially when you figure she came from a background that where she's probably done no work in her life, and
Mm.
now then finding to do that. So yeah, I thought it was very interesting. And I kind of look forward to this is a new, we've lost some great characters, and I was complaining about that. At least we got one or two new characters that I'm enjoying watching. I still miss Bobby. I still like when the gang's all together on the Rossi, but we've got a couple of storylines I think that are pretty good.
Yeah. I found with the Florence or the Clarissa storyline, or Melba, if you wanted to.
Yeah.
There's so many names. I think the real cutting moment was when her father said to her, says, "What do? You just host parties." And I thought, whoa,
Mm.
Yeah,
that's a deep cut.
it is.
And that's she doesn't her father doesn't respect her. Her own sister has no time for her. So she's pretty well alone. And is that enough to drive her to do the things that she's doing in the series? I guess you have to hand wave that a little bit, but at least there's a reason for why she's doing what she's doing. In terms of her super strength, I just think that in the this time period, she has these dental implants or whatever, so she's just getting some sort of steroid boost
Okay.
for a brief amount of time. So it's not like she has superpowers, but and there's a price to be paid because I think they showed that after the first time she used it, she passed out, right?
Mm.
Yeah.
So it's not a superpower. She's just drugging herself up, but
Is it like adrenaline?
something like that.
Okay.
I don't
Okay.
think we ever get into specifics of it, but
Okay.
yeah, but it's a temporary boost, and she paid physical price for it. So
Yeah, I knew it was something she did to
yeah,
rev herself up.
yeah, she could hear her biting down on something, right?
Yeah.
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 So
And I wonder, is that I start getting into okay, is that you only have one tooth, one
dose.
steroid shot?
Yeah.
Or is that just it refills again somehow when you get
No.
past your 32 teeth? Now then you no longer have that.
Yeah,
Then I was
I
like,
don't know.
okay, Jesse, you're going down a rabbit hole that you don't
Yeah.
need to go
Yeah.
down.
She has as many doses as the story requires her to.
Yeah.
There you go.
So that's how I would look at that because it's not a big part of anything, right? It's just a
Yeah.
Okay.
convenience thing that she could overpower that
So it
guy.
has nothing to do with something she did to augment her body or
No,
something. It's okay.
Okay.
no,
That
no,
works for me.
no. And it's the nice thing about that sequence was we got to see Julie again because she has
Mhm.
had a big presence in the show, yet she hangs over the whole series. My picture when we're doing the podcast is the show's logo with her blowing away from the planet. I really appreciate the fact that they work her in when they can because she's such a dominant part of the entire arc of the series. So that it's pretty cool when they do stuff like that.
She was pretty badass in that leather jacket, I thought.
Yeah, yeah. And yeah, with this is a visual medium, so they did a great job of showing the difference between the two characters, right? Because Melba was dressed up in that nice evening gown, fancy party dress, and Julie was wearing that leather jacket and the trousers, the khaki
Yeah.
or whatever. And so she was showing the difference between the two characters visually as well as in the limited dialogue that they had together. So I thought that was really well done.
Yeah, I think it really shows how much that Clarissa wanted to impress. That's like her whole thing. I want to
Yeah,
impress. I want
yeah,
to
Yeah.
do
yeah,
something to stand out. And Julie was like, I don't give a crap. I'll go to this ball, but I'm going to wear my leather jacket and pants. I don't
Yeah.
care what people think of me.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. She's really trying to find her place in her father's world. And it's kind of, if you've had any sibling rivalry, it's galling that you often it seems to be that the kids that this is the wildest is the one that the parent ends up liking the most or
Yeah.
Yeah.
favoring. At least that's the kind of impression that I come away from these type of scenarios. So it resonates a little bit with me and my siblings because my parents always liked one, even though they would never say it to admit it out loud, but I could just tell they favored one of us over the others. So there was always that
Yeah,
dynamic going on.
one of the things that I really liked is like in The Crown, there is an episode where Prince Philip says that, of course I have a favorite, and so do you. No, I don't. And then he goes, yeah, you do. And they show, I think it's Andrew that, which I'm sure that's the reason Queen Elizabeth died. No, not kidding. He broke her heart. So anyway, yeah, I think that is when you go back to the Smothers Brothers, let's talk about
Yeah.
timely.
Mm,
Mom
yeah.
always liked you
That's
best.
very good.
Yep.
Yeah,
Mom always like you better.
yeah,
Mm.
I forgot all about them. That's classic. And there's probably a lot of
yeah,
listeners are going, who the hell are they talking about?
Look them
yes,
up.
Look them
They're
up.
hilarious. Steve Martin's
yeah,
first job in
Yeah.
Hollywood was writing
Okay.
for them.
Since it's a small part of the episode, let's knock this off. What's going
yeah,
on the Thomas Prince with Anna? And we've, I like how the show has built up her very on-screen relationship with her wife, her husband. I'm not sure which one, how
yeah.
or the partner. I don't
Her
know how they term each other.
spouse.
Her spouse. Yeah. There's obviously a great deal of deep affection between the two of them, but Anna keeps getting put in these situations that keep her away from home. And she's on the Thomas Prince, and they're approaching the ring, and she wants to, this is a big moment in history, human history, and she wants to be there. She gets help from the debutante to allow her to stay on the ship, and then she also makes arrangements for this other guy who was talking a big game at the beginning of the episode, but when push comes to shove, he chickens out.
Run
So
away. Yep.
yeah.
Yeah.
So Jesse, what did you think about that section of the episode?
So I really like it, but I feel for the spouse that you're choosing to do this.
Yeah.
This isn't you're in the military and you're being assigned this. This is something you're doing. You are choosing to do this. And for our sake, of course, because we support Anna, I'm like, yeah, she has to, but no, she doesn't. She is choosing to do this because her curiosity or her sense of duty outweigh her sense of dedication to the family. So yeah, I think it's interesting. I like her interactions with the other members, the other passengers, the
Civilians.
Reverend,
Yeah.
yeah, civilians. I think that's really cool. And so and of course, I'm a big fan of this storyline and what she's doing. We've talked about how much we love the actress going back from Lost and a couple other things. So yeah, I think this is great to see, and I'm really enjoying it.
Good. Karen.
Yeah. I laughed out loud when she went to talk to Cortez, and Cortez was like, "You know what? I'm good. I,
Yeah, no, I'm losing my place in line.
yeah, I'm okay. You want to go? I'm all for it, but I have obligations. I got to get back."
Yeah,
I literally laughed out loud, LOL'd, because that that whole thing with I had mentioned that I thought he was shifty because of how he was talking. He was very
yes,
evangelistic, and the fact that this kind of worked out to be that kind of thing. He's a poser putting on
yeah,
how it's almost like a bully, where if you go to confront a bully, they back down.
Mhm.
This was definitely a big talker that turned out to be a nothing burger. And Anna, I agree with you, Jesse, that you got to feel for her wife, but I think there's part of her that she's not only questing for answers, but it's almost and I would say not just almost, but it is a religious thing for her that something new is happening and she is putting it in terms that she understands, as in, like, this is a
yeah,
miracle that's happening. And so to her, she's compelled to go and investigate it because you
yeah,
can't, if there's a miracle that shows up, you have to go see it. You have to do your sojourn. Your people go to Israel because that's part of their religion and,
Yeah.
all that stuff. I think that's how she sees it. And yeah, she doesn't have to. I agree with that. But I do think in her mind that it's worth it to her because of the the heaviness of the situation, the
Yeah.
grandness of it. And from how she talks as well in that message, that she understands how her wife is going to feel about it. She
Yeah.
is a bit ashamed of herself, but in her mind, she has to go because that's her destiny to go see this. She was put here for a reason,
Yeah.
and that's her reason is to go and see this miracle.
Yeah.
So I'm torn. I'm sad for her family because, she
Mhm.
has a child and a wife and
Yeah.
probably extended family. And the rest of it is that she just can't. She can't go home now. She's come
Yeah.
that far. And I love how she and Tilly are talking. That's the debutante. She and Tilly are talking about that. Tilly is saying, "Why do you want to stay?" And she says all this flowery stuff. And she says, "Okay, really, why do you want to stay?"
Yeah.
And she says another thing. And then Tilly goes, "Okay, closer. But
Mhm.
Yeah.
really, you want to be in on the ground floor," essentially,
Yeah.
is what they're saying to each other. And they come to this understanding where they understand why the other person's doing it. And they may
Yeah.
not agree with why they're doing it, but Tilly is willing to give her that shot to say,
Yeah.
"Hey, tag along.
Yeah.
I can respect your feelings about this." And
Yeah.
that that whole thing, and then she runs into Melba as well.
Yeah.
I'm glad you brought that up.
And okay, so I'll let you continue with that. But yeah, I love Anna. I love Elizabeth Mitchell who plays Anna. She's so pretty.
Yeah.
I'm so in love with her. She is just a wonderful actress, and her facial expressions convey so much when she's speaking to people. She has a whole different temperament when she's talking to Tilly, when she's talking to Cortez, when she's talking to Melba. It's a whole different perspective she's coming from, and her facial expressions convey that. And I can't say enough good things about her.
Cool. Yeah, I'm glad you picked up on the Melba thing. I find it interesting that Anna seems to have this like personality Geiger counter where she is drawn towards people that are having issues.
I don't know that she's drawn towards them, but I think that she can clock people.
Yeah, she's
She
got some
clocked
sort of
Aaron
divining
Wright.
rod. Yeah.
She clocked Aaron Wright, and she sees this person and she thinks there's something going on here
Yeah.
that I need to figure out what's going on here.
Yeah.
I love that she has that kind of intuition about people.
Yeah. And I like Anna because I think she's aware of her shortcomings because she knows that she's being a chicken when she waits till the last possible minute to send the message about her going into the ring.
Yeah, yeah.
But I also think that her going into the ring is the personality characteristics that her spouse probably fell in love with to begin with. So, yeah, she's going to be pissed that she took this big risk, but I think deep down, it's also the reason why she loves her because she's willing to
Mhm.
do that. Like she stands behind what she believes in, and I think maybe I'm projecting a little bit
No, I
there,
think so
but
too.
I do think that dynamic does exist, and
They had that conversation a few episodes ago where her wife was saying, "I know you can't come home right now, but we miss you." She
yeah,
understands what Anna's about. So
yeah,
yeah, her convictions, her morality.
yeah. Alrighty, so let's go to the behemoth next. And Karen, I want you to talk about this, and I'm curious to think, is your drummer love growing at all?
I love her already. And
That was a hell of
I,
a speech.
yeah, very much when
Yeah,
Ashford is riling everyone up.
that's her Kirk, risk is our business speech.
Yeah. Or "this is our Independence Day" kind of speech. Yeah, I do have to say, Ashford is so shifty to me. I enjoyed the conversation that Naomi and Ashford had, where she says, I don't work for you, and I definitely don't work for Anderson Dawes. And then Drummer comes over and she's like, okay, here's some accountability. I did that, and you work for me. So guess what? You got to
Yeah,
do it anyway.
yeah,
And I think that's part of why Naomi decides to leave, is that she understands that she's not going to agree with this regimented thing. Watching it more than once helped me because I got to see that Naomi was planning leaving halfway through the episode where she was setting up the transport ship and all that. And Ashford saw it, immediately goes to Drummer with it. I'm guessing part of him is saying, I'm going to undermine Naomi so that you don't know who to trust, maybe. If I can get in there and rattle you, maybe I can usurp, get some ground, some headway here. He's also really leaning into the whole rah rah, let's go, OPA, Belter stuff, which I'm assuming that's his personality. But the fact that he backs Drummer in this case is, yeah, look at me. I'm just as rah rah, ready to go as Drummer is. So pay attention. And it, he is, I love him, but he is so shifty. And Drummer is amazing. I thought the discussion, the little talk that she had with Naomi at the end was great. Making me feel good that Naomi says, I love you. I don't know. I ship them. I think they would be amazing together, but I don't know. That's just me. So yeah, and I had to sigh at Naomi. Could there be a more wishy-washy person on this show? What is her decision? Just make one, make a fist. She leaves to go with that ship that's leaving Eros, and then she comes back, and then she leaves again, and now she's going back. What is it? What is it you want? Do you want to be loyal to the OPA? Do you want to be neutral? What do you want to do? So at this point, I just want her to make a decision. I don't care what it is. Just make a decision so that I can either be on board or not.
yeah. How do I want to respond to that? I think that there is more to come about her, which may modify your opinion of her down the road. But
Okay. I don't
well,
dislike her.
yeah.
I want to know
But
what.
I can see that she seems wishy-washy at this
It's
point.
frustrating.
But there's reasons.
Okay.
So I'll just have to leave it at that. Jesse.
Alrighty.
Yeah, yeah, I think Naomi is trying to find herself. And so I totally agree with you, Karen, that yeah, it's kind of come on, make up your mind. But I really think the grass is always greener, and I remember a long time ago reading a story. It was a news article that said part of the problem with working moms is when they're at work, they're guilty that they're not with their family, and with their family, they're guilty they're not giving everything to work. And I feel that's Naomi a little bit, that when she's with the Rossi crew, she feels guilty that she's not doing enough for the belt. But then when she's at the belt, she realizes she is guilty that she's not there for her other family. And so I think that's why what is can appear to be wishy-washy, it is more, I can't, I haven't figured out a way to balance my two loyalties. And the article ended with, just in case anyone's listening that wants advice, that the thing to do is when you're at work, you focus on your work and you don't worry about your family. And then when you go home, you don't think about work and you focus on your family. Easier said than
Than
done,
done.
but they said
I was gonna say,
that is what you need to do, right?
Or at least
Is
aim for.
yeah, exactly. And yeah, and they said that's hard to do, but so yeah, I found that good. It makes for I also think there's a little bit of And Take a Drink, Bruce Springsteen. Bruce Springsteen's song's Better Days that talks about people waiting for a ship to come in while life is all slipping away. I think Naomi is thinking if I get with OPA, then this hole that I have in my heart from losing a child, everything else that's happening is going to be filled, but it doesn't, right? And so as she's going through this journey, what we would call wishy-washy, I think she would just call a journey of discovering who I am. So I'm giving her a little more grace. Totally understand where you're coming from, Karen. I could agree. And partly, I want her back on the Rossi. So I'm going to go,
Sure.
good for you, Naomi. You're doing the right thing.
Although I like her on the
And
Behemoth
she is
too.
Yeah.
desperately needed on the Rossi.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
So, David Strathairn, I so far love this character. Ashford is just I'm buying into his bit. If he is putting on a persona, I'm buying it.
Yeah, he's
I,
the Belter's Belter, man.
yeah,
I'm
Yep.
it
so into that
is,
character. It's unreal.
and he is, I don't know if you guys ever watched The Last Resort.
Yep.
That was and there was I think it was the chief petty officer or whatever, but one of them was truly, he was the officer that was the most against the captain. And but it was because he truly believed what he was doing was right. That would be a fun series to rewatch. So I think he is right now loyal to the belt, and he is loyal to Drummond because that's his job right now. And I do not get the feeling right now, and I may be naive, he is not trying to undermine her authority. He is trying to influence her, as I think, to do what he thinks is right. But when not Naomi, when Drummond starts that speech and he starts banging, I thought that was a really powerful moment. And they're all getting swept in, and Naomi is sitting there going, why am I here? She's not drinking the Kool-Aid at all. So I thought that was a wonderful scene. It was a powerful scene. I just was really happy. And I'm curious to see where they're going to go with this character.
Cool.
Can I talk about something negligible
Sure.
about the Behemoth? I I think the continuity there is fantastic where everyone has their own kind of flavor on a face tattoo,
Mhm.
which is, as we
Yeah.
know, like an OPA thing.
Yes.
And they pan across and everyone's got their own little on the
Yes.
what is it, on the right side of the left side of their face?
That's the
Left
left side.
side.
Yeah.
Yeah, face or neck or whatever. They've all got their own little tattoo. Just the whole vibe of the Behemoth, I think, is so in character, in keeping with the OPA and how that feels. It's dingy, it's dark, it's
Yeah.
people, they are united in their cause, and we see the other ships. The Rossi, which is dark but not dingy, they're trying to make their life the best it can be, has left his mark on it. And everybody who's been on the Rossi has left their mark on the ship. And the UN ships are bright and they've got all the technology and all that. I really love how they set the scene in each environment. And it's just so cool. I
Yeah.
marveled at everyone having their tattoos and all that.
Mm.
Yeah. I do think it's kind of cool. They each do it a little different, right? It
Yeah,
is,
Yep.
and you assume it is each tattoo means something different.
sure.
It is a
But
personal.
under the same umbrella.
Yeah.
This means OPA, but it means OPA to me.
Yeah.
It's really great.
Yeah.
Cool. And I just want to tip my hat to Jesse because mark your comments down because they were very insightful, especially in regards to Naomi.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
All
Yeah.
right.
She's finding herself, huh?
Yeah.
Feeling herself out.
Okay.
Alrighty.
So let's get to the Rocinante. And Holden's looking pretty rough, and the ship is crippled because of what the blind camera guy has done, Cohen, and they're trying to figure out they're between a rock and a hard place. They can't go beyond a certain speed because otherwise they'll be vaporized. They can't touch the barrier because that also is not a good outcome. And they are being chased by the MCN ship. So they're out of options. And Holden is thinking of surrendering, but he's hoping that Miller is going to provide him with an answer. The whole dynamics of that scene, a situation on the Rocinante, I especially liked how what Amos did with the reporter and the camera guy. Jesse, why don't you just talk about all of that and what parts of it you like the most?
Yeah, they're in a bad place. And Amos does not make it easier, right? If I can't kill it, screw it, or eat
Yeah,
it, I don't care about it.
yeah,
And definitely, as the cliche, if your only weapon is a hammer, every problem looks like a nail. If you are this guy, every problem looks can be solved by force. And then, and I love Holden. I wish you'd talk to me first. Sorry,
Sorry,
Cap.
Cap.
Yeah. So I think this is, and of course, it's a cliche, but I could really imagine the cameraman's look. I didn't know this was going to happen. And
mhm.
I always want to go, have you never watched a movie or a TV show? Why are you not a little more just slightly skeptical about them asking you this, or you're not overthinking it because you just want the money? So yeah, I thought this was really interesting. Getting them off ship gets us back to our core crew members. And going back to, I think one of the things, and I'll get personal here for a little bit, is one of the things that Linda, my lovely bride, likes about me is I usually can come up with a plan. And it may not be a great plan, but it's a plan. And she goes, she's never more afraid is when I go, yeah, I don't know what we're going to do. Yeah, exactly, Karen. So
So
I
you're the
think,
Crichton of your house,
yeah,
is that? Yeah.
yeah. And so Holden saying, all right, here's what I think we should do, right? And I had a manager as an executive at a company I worked, and when this is not unique, but he says if mine is the only idea on the table, it's the best idea. And I had another manager who would say, this is my best bad idea. And I
Hmm.
used to always love that because he's acknowledging not a great plan, but it's
But
the
it's the
best one I
only thing
have,
we
right?
got.
Best
Yep.
one I have
Yeah,
now. So if
Yep.
someone has a better plan, speak now.
yeah,
And I think, but we're going to lose the Rossi. Yeah, but at least we're alive.
yeah,
So yeah, I thought, but once again, I love their dynamics. And so this is, I enjoyed that. And also, Holden, okay, where are you? Where are you? Okay,
Sure.
Mr. Ghost supporter, when I really need you, you're not calling. And I thought it was humorous and really helped.
yeah.
Yeah,
Did
I
I
think the
answer?
Ross
Did I get the right answer? Okay, good.
the Rossi is the humor in this episode. Okay, I was so wrong about Amos in the first couple of seasons. I love him right now.
Yeah,
Just the matter of fact way that he goes about everything. He is threatening Monica in order to get Cohen to say something. When he realizes that's not going to work, he decides, okay, the only way our comms aren't working, we got to send these people out to them. That's his plan. Jesse was saying, maybe not the best plan. It's all they got. And I adore that he's upset. He's that kind of person that says, I'm going to ask for forgiveness, not permission.
yeah,
So he puts them in the airlock, Monica and Cohen, and just the way he talks to them, he says, hey, Cohen, put on the helmet. Go on. You better get on the helmet. And then Monica's helping him. And then he says something to this, you two, come on, put it on.
Yeah.
And he's just so matter of fact about it. When he's talking to Alex, Alex says, what are you doing, man? And he says, look, this is the only way. We got to send them out. And since they caused it in the first place, it's their responsibility. I
Yeah.
don't care what happens. I just want them to go. And if they can make it to this other ship and clear us, then good.
Mm-hmm.
But
Yeah.
they need to go. They've caused all this problem. I'm done. I'm done with them. He was already nearing his last straw when they kept coming up to him and propositioning him, right? He
Yep.
didn't like them at all. And so to eject them from the ship, I think was a dream come true for him.
Yeah.
Yep.
And it really does show that kind of, he does have respect for Holden, but when Holden is doing something else and he gets to do what he thinks is right, then good. He's all
Yeah.
good with it. And he does say to Holden, when Holden says, I wish you'd have asked me first. And he says that line, he's sorry, Cap.
Yeah.
And you can tell he's not. He's not sorry. He's sorry that he upset Holden. That's what he's talking about.
Yeah.
He's not
Yeah.
sorry for what he did.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And again, we're seeing on the flip side from Anna, he has a morality and conviction about what he does that can't be shaken. His conviction is, I am loyal to the people I trust, and these are the people I trust. I don't trust them.
Mm-hmm.
And it really does show. I love how he talks to Alex, and Alex is like, dude, whatever. I'm washing my hands of this. But Tap, you got to tell them we didn't do this. Alex is getting in the last word there. And man, the whole thing with Holden trying to contact Miller, Alex goes to see, hey, how you coming along? And Holden doesn't say a word to Alex. He's just, get out. In his head, he's saying, get out of here. And you can see it on his face. And then he shuts the door. And Alex again is, okay, I wash my hands of this. I got to go try and fly the ship. And then when he shuts the door and you hear him go, Miller, I'm at my wit's end. You wouldn't stop talking, and now I can't even get you to show up. And finally, what they're doing when they deviated from what the ring, the protomolecule wanted them to do, that's when Miller shows up. The whole motivation behind the protomolecule is to get these people to do what they need him to do. And the fact that they're trusting Holden, I think, is a very interesting detail here. He's not going, the ring isn't, the protomolecule isn't sending someone to the Behemoth, isn't sending someone to the Martian ship. It's going straight to the Rossi and to Holden. And I think my theory is that through what they've learned from Miller, Miller understands what Holden's about, and that Holden is doing what he thinks is right. And so that's where they go, right? They're discounting the fact that Holden hates the protomolecule at the moment, because that's why they're sending Miller in order to say, hey, look, we're not all bad. Here is a good thing that we can do. We can project a friend to explain things to you. And that part where he says, okay, no more bullshit. Tell me what you know. And Miller, the protomolecule via Miller knows telling you what I know isn't going to help. And he does all this techno babble. And then Holden finally says, okay, so we're going to find these these criminals. Let's go back to that, because I don't understand what you're saying. Again, a little bit of comedy, but also we're seeing that the protomolecule understands who to go to get done what they need done. We don't know what it is. And now Miller has told him to go out on his own. Has he informed Alex or Amos that he's going to take a walk? What's happening there? This is the part that got me anxious to watch the next episode is I want to know what's going to happen with him, where he's going, what the protomolecule wants him to do. I'm hoping that Miller laid it all out for him and we're just going to find out what's going on. It gives me that kind of Contact vibe, the movie Contact.
Yeah.
And especially Miller is a fill-in for whatever the protomolecule represents. And then we had in Contact, we had Jodie Foster's father being that stand-in in order to relate to her in a way she could understand. Yeah. So I love that it's drawing on these kind of tropes to really telegraph what's going on, why they sent Miller. It's great. It occurred to me, why aren't they going to these other ships? There's better resources, there's more people. Do they realize that they'll be exploited? Do they realize that Miller is just in it to learn, to understand what's happening? That Holden is just trying to learn. I can't wait to find out more about what is Holden's destiny here.
Yeah, it's rather elegantly structured that the bit of protomolecule that's left on the Rocinante is allowing the protomolecule to communicate with Holden through Miller, and Miller was absorbed by the protomolecule when it crashed on Venus, or even before that, I guess you could say. That works out quite well, because if the protomolecule was on another ship, the protomolecule wouldn't be able to manifest the personality that somebody from another ship would have a relationship with.
Anna and the scientist from the other ship, maybe?
Maybe, but who would they manifest as to them?
The friend of hers that was on that Venus exploration.
Oh, yes, that's true. Maybe. Yeah, that would as well. Yeah.
And part of what I'm assuming is that I feel like the protomolecule could have figured a way to get some of its material onto another ship or something, because we had that ship that the protomolecule got onto by accident. It could have found a way, I feel like, but I see that they're seizing this opportunity, but I think it's very much in keeping with he was meant to do it anyway, right?
Yeah.
So I really love it.
Yeah. So
and like you said, it's elegant storytelling. Yeah, it very much is.
Yeah. So it works out quite well. And I also like the fact that Miller's leaving the ship to go to this, whatever's at the center of the ring zone. And
Holden, you mean, right?
Holden, sorry.
Yeah. No, that's okay.
And at the same time, Naomi's on a skiff to go to the Rocinante, but they can't communicate with each other. So by the time she gets there, it's going to be too late. So she's obviously, and they're going to tell her what was going on with Holden. And they're all wondering is he going nuts or what? And Holden was probably thinking, maybe I am going nuts, because he could not get in contact with Miller anymore for a while. So there's a lot of good dynamics going on there. And the other thing that was cool was Holden said that Miller seemed different inside the ring bubble. And I think Miller said it was just, we're getting better Wi-Fi in here or whatever.
Yeah, the connection's better.
So, yeah. Better connection. So that's all interesting stuff. So so we're on another cliffhanger, and I'm sorry that you had to wait 2 weeks to watch the next episode.
Not a big deal.
Okay. Yes.
That's life sometimes.
Frustrating, but no biggie.
So now you can, after we do our next episode, after this one, then you can go watch this afternoon, or maybe for your time, it might be evening. You can go watch the next episode. So that's pretty well everything I had for this one. I guess, do we want to go out in the room, do some ratings?
I do have a very small last thing.
Oh, okay.
Melba is pretty presumptuous, sending a message to that guy's family that she killed, saying that, hey, I knew him, I'm sorry about it. And then she goes on this, tell my dad I did this for him.
Yeah.
Does she really expect them to go to a guy who's been incarcerated for treason and all these other horrible things to tell him that his daughter has done something for him? There's a screw loose there, right?
Yeah, I think it's more important for us to realize that even though she feels deeply regretful about killing that technician, her underlying motivation is still more powerful than any moral qualms that she has. So it's a way of externalizing to the audience where her head is at. I think
Yeah,
it more than that, more of that than any like
sure.
is Mao actually going to get her message.
Yeah, it just shows
Yeah,
her whole mindset.
and it also reminds me of on the Behemoth that drummer allows Naomi to leave,
Yeah,
which is a big thing
sure.
because she could really use her, obviously, and she's they have a bond. They're sisters almost in a way.
No,
No, no, you want
I
more.
don't accept that.
Okay. But
I was going to
you know
ask
what I
that. Do
mean.
you think when she says "I love her," is there
No, she
a
loves the OPA. That's what
okay?
she's saying.
Hmm,
She's not
yeah.
talking about drummer, but I like.
But I think if Holden wasn't in the picture, I could see those two hooking up. But
Mm,
Yes, I
yeah,
do
yeah.
too.
Yeah. But so that's and I think drummer has those feelings stronger than Naomi does. But that might just
yeah,
because of Naomi's situation. But which makes her allowing Naomi to leave that I think that shows a
yep,
lot about drummer that she's in a position where she could exert her will onto Naomi,
Yeah.
but she doesn't. She lets her make her own decision. So that I just wanted to mention that before we wrapped it up. Okay, ratings, Karen. When do you want to give this one out of 10?
I'm gonna give it an 8 out of 10 convictions. Also, the title of the episode is intransigent, which means the stubborn refusal to compromise, change an opinion, or reach an agreement. And I feel
Right.
like that's the whole thing about this episode, right? So yeah,
Yeah.
I'm gonna give it convictions.
Okay. Jesse.
8 out of 10 leather jackets.
Yeah, that was
Nice.
a hot leather
Nice.
jacket.
It
Um,
was
and I'll give it 8 out of 10 party hostess.
There you go.
nice.
And that wraps up our summary for this episode. The next episode is episode 10, Dandelion Sky, which is an interesting title. Reminds me of that Tom Cruise movie, but we'll see what that's all about. And Jesse, if people want to get in touch with you and maybe through you in touch with Bruce, where should they go?
Yes. Yeah, I am really proud as we're recording this. Just released 2 episodes that I am urging people to listen to. I always talk about set listing Bruce and how I'm always looking for people to interview, but I had Tim Kalishaw, who is the DFW Dallas Morning News head sports columnist, had some great stories about seeing Bruce early in Bruce's career. And then the one that's amazingly special, Dale Hansen, who is retired WFA sports anchor. And he had stories, everything from Elvis to Tom Landry to Bruce to Rod Stewart to Donald Trump. We
Wow.
covered everything from politics, music, sports. He is an amazing storyteller, and I did very little heavy lifting in this interview. It was like, "Hey Dale, so how are you?" And 20 minutes later, "Okay, let me ask you another question." But
Best kind
I
of
I really do recommend if you don't listen to Set Listing Bruce all the time, do yourself a favor, listen to the Dale Hansen episode. There will be at least one story that makes you laugh and one story that you
makes you
will
angry.
if you're conservative.
Yeah.
But he told the story that the only time he broke character as a sports journalist is when he was interviewing Mickey Mantle. And at the end of the interview, he said, "I'm not supposed to do this. I don't, I know this is breaks every journalistic ethic, but is there any way you would sign a baseball for me?" And Mickey Mantle did. And when Dale told his dad was the only time he was impressed with Dale and seemed to be proud of him. Really great story. So please check that out. I'm on social media at Jesse Jackson DFW, Set Lusting Bruce, wherever you get it on YouTube, Spotify, iTunes. Check it out and let me know what you think.
Alrighty, Karen.
You can email us at jklmediareviews@gmail.com. You can also comment on our posts, and I want to give a special shout out to Umbras, who is listening and has commented on several of our videos. And We appreciate you. And I am at Aleveria, Aleveria, on social media. And my blog is alliestuff.com.
And I'm can be found, of course, on this YouTube channel, JKL Media Reviews, where we're doing The Expanse, waiting for Pluribus and Severance to come back. I'm also on my own YouTube channel, Lou's Reviews, where I have my Stephen King and writers podcasts, as well as the entire archived JKL Media Reviews of Babylon 5, as well as the animated movie. You can find me on Twitter and Blue Sky at Lou W. Sytsma, Sytsma. And with that, we're going to shut down the Epstein Drive for another week. And until next week, take care and so long. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
And scene.
The proceeding has been a JKL Media production.